Okay, shalom everyone. This is going to be pretty quick. I wanted to share um, a correlation with the Bantu migration along with Abraham family migrated from Africa through Mesopotamia. And I want to start off first with this article here. It says the Bantu migration from their origin in southern West Africa saw a gradual population movement sweep through the central, eastern, and southern parts of the continent, starting in the mid 2 million BCE and finally ended before 1500 CE. With them, the Bantu brought new technologies and skills such as cultivating high yield crops and ironworking, which produced more efficient tools and weapons. It says eventually the Bantu dominated with the exception of South Africa, Namibian desert, all of the African continent south of a line crossing from southern Nigeria to Kenya. In all, some 500 languages spoken today in that vast area are derived from the Proto-Bantu language. Although most historians would agree on the general occurrence of the Bantu migration across Africa, the precise timing, motivations, routes, and consequences are still being debated or just being um, studied. Like they've been studying us like for thousands of years. It's, it says, for people that hate us so much, show like to study us. And for us to be nobody and nothing, they sure love to study us. If we're nobody and we have nothing and we have no history, why study us? It says the Bantu were agriculturalists who spoke various dialects of the Bantu language. Their heartland was savanna and rainforest origin around the Niger River of southern West Africa, modern Nigeria, Cameroon, and Gabon. Using both stones and iron tools, they successfully grew crops such as millet, sorghum, dry rice, beans, oil palms, and melons. Oh, no, I love melons, although they did so at subsistence level. Subsistence level. That is, they grew only sufficient food to last a few months. Where did this come from? Where this came from is not known, except that the three most likely possibles are the knowledge was introduced by the Phoenicians in the north, the Egyptians or Cushites in the east, or it was acquired locally independently. So, anyways, but what I really wanted to show, you have the background of the um, Bantus, and also the fact that the year of 2000 BC to 500. See, the Bantu started, says about 2000 BC to 1500 CE. So now I want to go to a couple of articles on Abraham. The first one I'm going to show is, um, let's look at Abraham the Hebrew. So real quickly, it says, um, Abraham the Hebrew, it says the first person to be explicitly designated as Hebrew in the Bible is Abraham. He lived in the Middle Bronze Age around 21,000 to 2000, the same time the Bantu expansion was going on. It's a detailed study of Abraham reveals a great deal about the biblical Hebrew and their authority. It says Abraham Hebrew ancestors lived in the Nile Valley, Canaan, and Mesopotamia. They were ruler priest castes that dispersed widely in the service of early kingdom builders such as Nimrod. I wanted to show you something here. So here's the, because it says on the next article, I'm going to show you how Abraham family migrated from Africa into Mesopotamia. But anyway, this is the, I guess, the area that is considered Mesopotamia map. But keep in mind that he lived in the Middle Bronze Age around 2100 to 2000 BC. So then I want to go to this one. Is it this one? Yeah, this one here. Now this says here, and like I said, this is going to be really quick, just something to think about, food for thought. It says biblical writers recognize that the people among them with red skin were of an ancestral line of extreme antiquity. This is why the first man named Adam is related to the word for blood and the color red, Dam, Adam, and Edom. And it goes on to give some information by this gentleman that wrote a book, a Hebrew book, Jeff Banner. I have the book. But anyway, I want to go down to here. It says to construct, at the bottom right here where it says, as Lindsay, to construct an accurate picture of an ancient world of Genesis, we must examine the assumption that Abraham people originated in the Tigris Euphrates area. She said this is what everybody's teaching. Then it goes on to say the Genesis genealogy presents a different picture, that Abraham ancestor migrated out of Africa, and the evidence of anthropology, genetics, archaeology, DNA study, and linguistics supports the view. So I'm just going to click on this part here. So it's going to say here that Abraham Cushite ancestors. It says linguistic and DNA studies have shown that Abraham and his ancestors were Cushites, whose cultural context was that of the Afro-Asiatic dominion, which extended from West Africa to India. So they migrated from West Africa all the way up to India. This was the migration expansion too. I really believe this. I believe there's a correlation. This is the region in red shows the area of Kushite rules. The Kushites include many people, and they range in appearance from brown to red to black. So this is where she's saying this Afro-Asiatic dominion here. And this is an image by Clyde A. Winter's study of a haplogroup RM173. Then right here goes on and talks about his father, Terah, and Terah was also Nilotic. And most of the Nilotics, and they found in Sahara desert, which would still be around West Africa. But I'm not going to get into all of that. I just want to show that part. Now, this last article I'm going to show you how it talks about, I think this is it. The roots of gospel are in Africa. And I'm not going to read very much of it. This is just food for thought to y'all. You may want to go do your own research, but it's just food for thought, because I really believe that the Bantus expansion was around the same time that Abraham was living in. Check this out. We know that Abraham, before Abraham was called, he was already a priest. He was a Cushite, what they call Harites. He was a priest. It was a priest. It's a bloodline. So it makes sense that the Most High called him. He didn't call Moses and they made him a priest. He was already a priest. That's why the Most High called him. So anyway, this says the Nilotic Hebrew understanding of the human condition and our needs of God's saving mercy is evident in the Genesis 1:3 narrative, which have their closest parallel in the African creation stories. This should not surprise us. Genesis 10:6-8 makes it clear that some of Abraham's ancestors lived in Africa. His ancestor Nimrod was a Cushite. The African theme are closely woven together in the Genesis creation in the stories. These include the dark primal water, the separation of the water above from the water below, the creation of human from the soil, humus, the tribal first parent, the tree of life, dangerous serpent, um, an estrangement from the Heavenly Father. It says, it says, in the beginning, the phrase in at the beginning is a common introduction to creation stories among Africans. In the beginning, there were only darkness, water, and the great god Buma, Bantu of Central Africa. Now, check this out. We knew God. This just shows you that our people, our ancestors, knew the Most High God before missionaries went over there. They did not go over there to take no message, no gospel. They went over there to steal, kill. That's what they went over. I won't say they went over there to steal, to kill, but I know for definitely they went over there to steal. But it wasn't to spread no gospel. Um, and then it kind of makes sense too. Them going over there taking that Christian gospel over there to Africa, and when they took us our ancestors from over there and brought them over here, they was also changing their religion. They knew they knew God because they had already been over there missionaries, and they knew there was a strong relationship between God and His people. But anyway, I digress. It goes on to say that the Bantu Central, that's for Bantu. Then it goes on and says the Nilotic narrative speaks of total darkness. There was no sunlight. The whole land was darkened. That's Gikuyu of Kenya. Okay, they also have the narrative. At the beginning of the things, when there was nothing, neither man or nor animal, nor plant, nor heaven, nor earth, nothing, nothing. God was, and he was called Nazam, and that's Fan of the Congo, their creation story. So there's the Bantu creation story, there's the Kenya creation story, and there's the Congo story. Then it goes on to say that the Nilotic Hebrew believed in the beginning there was only the swirling water, chaos. The Egyptian believed the first land appears as mount rising from the primal water. The mount was called Tajin, and the first life from was a lily growing on the peak of the emerging land. Emerging land. Um, and then it goes on to say the Nilotic lure called chaotic water of creation, the Dognam. And that's a Nilotic Hebrew belief. Um, then it goes on to say that according to the Nilotic Oromo, the high god was separated the impregnated body of water into two parts. The water above called Bishan Gabat, and the water below called Bishan Guda. In Genesis 1:6-8, we read that God separated the waters from the waters below. This says, consider the song of Bamboo Tea Pygmy. And I'm going to read this, I'm going to end it. In the beginning was God, and this is the Pygmy in Africa. This was their creation story. In the beginning was God. Today is God. Tomorrow will be God. Who can make an image of God? He has no body. He is as word which comes out from your mouth. That word, it is no more. It is past and still it lives. So is God. And then it goes on to say that Here we find the belief in the generative wars among another common things among Africans. The Nilotic Leos have a saying, watch Igi Kiko, which means a word has power. The prologue of John Gospel identifies the word with the Son of God. And I'm going to end it there. So anyway, I thought I would share that with you because I really believe y'all. I really believe that the migration, Bantu migration, is a correlation also along with Abraham and his family also that migrated out of West Africa into Mesopotamia. So anyways, there was another article, but I'm not going to try to bring that up because I don't want to end up messing this up. So anyway, so I thought I'd just share that with you all. So, it's just a quick thing for food for thought. Tell me what you think, and I say shalom.